Well, hello there. Today I'll be talking about Halloween and how it might in the future become a more spiritually meaningful holiday. But first, I'd like to start off with a brief history of Halloween, followed by what I think's good about it, what's bad about it, and then finally concluding with my thoughts on how it might become more spiritually meaningful. Halloween finds its origins in the ancient Celtic festival called Samhain. Samhain marks the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter and darker times ahead. It was believed that the veil between the mortal world and the spirit world was weakest on that day, and that all manner of spirits would roam the earth. These could be anything from the spirits of humans who had died, fairies or the fair folk, or more darker malevolent entities, or even ancient gods. The ancient Celts would honor the spirits of their ancestors and welcome them into their homes. They would also wear costumes or masks to disguise themselves so that the negative or more mischievous spirits wouldn't recognize them and they would be safe from their attention. This ancient festival was also seen as a time when divination was favorable because of the weakened veil between worlds. One of the forms of divination used was bobbing for apples. Now, it's simply a party game some play in modern-day Halloween, but in older times it was a method for unmarried people to divine their future spouse. Apples would be suspended in a pool of water, much like today, and people would attempt to bite them. In one method, the first person to successfully bite the apple would be the next to marry. In another method, the women would each mark an apple before placing them in the water, and the man who bit that apple would be destined to marry the woman who marked it. Eventually, the church moved to Christianize Samhain and instituted All Saints' Day on November 1st to honor saints instead of other spirits. Still, the old traditions persisted, and the night before was called All Hallows' Day evening, which eventually came to be known as Halloween. One practice that developed with the evolving holiday was souling, where poor people would visit the homes of the wealthy to receive treats called soul cakes. In exchange for these cakes, they would pray for the deceased relatives of the homeowners. This, along with other influences, would eventually morph into the modern-day practice of trick-or-treating. Now, if you're enjoying this video, would you please leave a like in my goodie bag? It really helps to grow this channel. So, what are some good points about Halloween? First, it's a fun time for kids to dress up and go on a little adventure. It can also be a bonding experience between parents and their children by making or buying costumes, but putting up decorations or trick-or-treating together. However, on a deeper level, Halloween gives people of all ages a reason to dress up and be someone else or something else once a year. It's an opportunity to try on a new persona and see what that's like. Anytime you move into a different space than the one you're accustomed to, it can broaden your perspective on yourself and others. That is potentially valuable to one's personal growth. Now, moving to the negative aspects of Halloween. First, I'd just like to say that I'm not down on Halloween and have this really negative view the way some church groups do. But I would like to point out the bad points for balance. Firstly, Halloween can and does provide an excuse for some people to let their personal demons out. Acts such as throwing eggs at people and toilet papering houses come to mind. Other more serious crime happens at a much higher rate during Halloween, however. The following is a quote from an article on the CPIsecurity.com website. Quote, on average, CPI Security Central Station sees a 21% increase in break-ins during the month of October. Travelers Insurance reported a 68% increase in vandalism claims on Halloween compared to the other 364 days a year. Travelers also reported an 8% increase in theft claims and a 5% increase in mysterious disappearances on Halloween. Halloween is one of the top holidays for stolen cars year after year, according to the National Insurance Crime Bureau. According to the NHTSA data from 1975 to 2016, the risk of pedestrian fatality from car accident is 43% higher on Halloween. You can find a link to this article in the description. So basically, energy follows thought. And if your thoughts are on dark, negative things, then that is likely to manifest in some way, whether it be in crime, pranks, or something else. So, what could Halloween become? I see it as possible to be a more spiritually meaningful holiday than it is now, and there are a few practices or ideas that I think could take it in that direction. It is said that spirits walk the earth because the veil between the material and spiritual world is weakest. In keeping that with that idea, could we not focus on a closer contact or relationship with our own soul or spirit? If so, Halloween could be used as a time to divine the truth from one's own higher self. We might metaphorically trick or treat, asking our own soul to draw closer to us and bestow us with the treats of wisdom and guidance. Masks and costumes used to be used to hide from dark spirits and malicious entities. Now they are just used to have fun. But going forward, perhaps they might be used to express higher aspects of ourselves. A mask can disguise who you really are, but it could also represent who you really are. We might dress up as a character who represents who we aspire to be and live more in alignment with that vision. We could also dress up as someone or something we are drawn to but don't yet know why. In putting on that persona, we could contemplate what about it is calling to us. Most Halloweens past, I've dressed up as a character who fought against evil instead of embodying it. I liked being a Ghostbuster when I was a kid, as you can see in these images here. Then later on, here's one of me as Luke Skywalker. And of course, these days, I like being a wizard. Hopefully, these ideas have inspired you. Do you have any thoughts or insights about how to make Halloween more spiritually meaningful? Please let me know in the comments. I'd also be really interested in people's experiences in trying to make their Halloween more spiritual or implementing any of the practices I suggested. So please share those with me as well. I hope I've earned your subscription today. If you thought this video is worthwhile, please share it with a friend. Till next time, happy Halloween.